What if the truth about your family was hidden in your DNA, until it shattered everything? In the depths of a city that wears its secrets like scars, a hidden chapter of history begins to surface. Beneath the familiar glow of streetlights, where the echoes of laughter and whispers of loss merge, modern science has become the unlikely key to unlocking a past many believed was settled. Imagine receiving a test result that reveals more than you ever wished to know, a sequence of letters that not only confirms who you are but also exposes a legacy of concealed origins. In a quiet laboratory on the edge of Chicago, one individual's life was abruptly rewritten when a simple sample unraveled a story of unexpected separation and long-buried truths. This was no fantasy, it was a factual turning point that left a family grappling with revelations that shattered the very foundations of their shared identity. Across the nation, families are confronting similar surprises. Comprehensive genetic testing, once heralded as a beacon of connection and clarity, is now proving to be a double-edged sword. While many celebrate the opportunity to discover lost relatives and affirm cherished traditions, others find themselves facing histories marred by abandonment, deception, and heartbreak. With every test, a once stable narrative is re-examined, forcing us to question whether our understanding of kinship can withstand the weight of hard evidence. One case brought to light the story of a woman who had always embraced the comforting myths of her lineage. When her DNA revealed discrepancies that contradicted decades of family lore, every memory, every tender moment of her childhood, was suddenly cast in doubt. The scientific facts, meticulously gathered and verified, stood in stark opposition to the stories passed down through generations. In the process, a sense of betrayal mingled with sorrow, challenging the belief that the ties that bind us are as immutable as blood. As these individual stories come together, a broader picture emerges, one that forces us to confront the complexities of identity in an age where technology can expose the hidden corners of our past. In neighborhoods filled with history, the revelations can ignite controversy, stirring debates about privacy, trust, and the ethics of uncovering truths that some feel were meant to remain undisturbed. It is a topic that touches on the delicate balance between progress and preservation, between the right to know and the need for peace. What makes this journey so compelling is not only the astonishing power of genetic science but also the raw human emotions that follow. Each revelation, no matter how scientifically sound, carries with it the potential to disrupt lives, shattering relationships, altering self-perceptions, and challenging long-held beliefs about what it means to be part of a family. In the wake of these discoveries, communities are left to reconcile the comfort of tradition with the often harsh light of reality. Yet, amidst the turmoil, there is also an undeniable allure. The very act of unearthing these secrets invites a deeper conversation about the nature of heritage. Is our identity defined solely by the sum of our genetic parts, or does the narrative woven by our shared experiences hold equal weight? As we follow the footsteps of those who have courageously faced these revelations, we are reminded that every answer uncovered leads to new questions. The truth, as it turns out, is rarely simple. In this exploration, we journey through the lives of individuals who have been forced to re-examine everything they once knew. We listen to voices marked by both resilience and regret, each story a testament to the unpredictable intersection of science and the human spirit. While the findings are rooted in scientific rigor, their impact is deeply personal. A series of moments that ripple outward, affecting not only the individuals involved but also the wider fabric of society. This documentary invites you to confront a narrative where the past is not a distant memory but an active force that reshapes our present. With every genetic marker, the legacy of secrets and untold histories comes into sharper focus. What we discover is a tapestry of human experience, one that, while sometimes painful, also offers the possibility of understanding and, perhaps, eventual reconciliation. What if the truth about your family was hidden in your DNA, until it shattered everything? As we peel back the layers of silence and mystery, prepare to engage with stories that challenge the very notion of identity. In the journey ahead, we encounter truths that compel us to rethink our history and, in doing so, force us to redefine the meaning of family. Chicago wears its secrets like a second skin, hiding stories that refuse to fade. In this true crime documentary, we follow David, a man on the edge of a revelation that could tear his world apart. His journey began with a single, shocking test result that challenged everything he thought he knew about his family. Hidden within his DNA lay clues pointing to a long-forgotten case, one that left a community wounded and questions that remain unanswered. David's life is now caught between the comfort of old beliefs and the harsh evidence of betrayal. Unseen records and hushed whispers hint that his family may have been entangled in a case that shocked the city. A crime, long buried, still echoes in the quiet corridors of Chicago's past. The evidence, carefully documented and verified by authorities, links him to a tragedy that has left scars on the victims and their loved ones. Every moment brings new details, anonymous letters, unexpected phone calls, and fragments of memories that David can barely piece together. With each ticking second, he is forced to confront a legacy of deception. What does it mean when the very blood coursing through your veins tells a story of secrets and concealed crimes? Can one man stand alone against a history that seems determined to repeat itself? As the investigation unfolds, the trail of clues grows colder, yet the stakes keep rising. The documents suggest that a member of his family might have played a role in a case that not only shattered lives but also challenged the integrity of the community. The victims, whose voices were silenced too soon, now demand that their story be told, a call that David cannot ignore. The countdown begins as the pieces of evidence fall into place. Questions multiply. How deep do these family secrets run? Who can be trusted when every revelation brings more pain? And will the truth, once exposed, offer closure or lead to further heartache? This narrative, while rooted in verified forensic methods and real investigative procedures, is a work of fiction. Every character and event is crafted to evoke thought and emotion, drawing us into a labyrinth of betrayal and remorse. Prepare to question everything you believe about family, loyalty, and the cost of hidden truths. Chicago reveals its secrets in every rain-soaked street and abandoned alleyway. In the shadows of historic brick and modern decay, a hidden story begins to emerge. Here, the whispers of the past echo through quiet neighborhoods, carrying with them an unsolved case that refuses to be forgotten. David once lived a life of certainty. His days followed a steady rhythm, anchored by a family that seemed unbreakable. Yet beneath that stability, questions festered. His brother, known for a troubled past and an air of guarded silence, held secrets that David never suspected. Family gatherings carried an unspoken tension, a quiet reminder that not every truth is meant to be shared. A faded newspaper clipping hints at a case from years ago. A disappearance, a community left in shock, and an investigation that stalled as unanswered questions piled up. The headline barely whispered the possibility of betrayal, yet the evidence suggests a connection to those very family ties. As details surface, it becomes clear that every hidden note, every hushed conversation, may be a clue to a puzzle too complex to ignore. The narrative twists as David stumbles upon an old letter. Its words, cryptic and urgent, point to an incident long buried, a crime that shattered lives and left scars on a city already burdened with loss. In that moment, the clock starts ticking. With each passing day, the urgency to unearth the truth intensifies. What if the betrayal runs deeper than anyone imagined? What if the past is not just history, but a force that threatens to upend the present? In one brief exchange, David's inner turmoil comes to light. I always believed our family was built on trust, he confesses in a quiet, almost desperate tone. But now, every piece of evidence feels like a betrayal. His words hang heavy, opening a door to more questions than answers. How could those closest to him have hidden a secret so dangerous? And what does it mean for a man whose identity is now in question? The investigation takes unexpected turns. A series of flashbacks, fragments of memories, a glimpse of a long-forgotten argument, a mysterious phone call, intertwine with the physical evidence. Each piece builds the suspense, urging us to follow the trail of clues. The documents, verified by law enforcement, hint at a family entangled in a crime that left a community reeling. A name appears repeatedly, linking the old case to recent events and casting doubt on everything David once believed. Questions pile up as the narrative unfolds. Who was the missing person? Why did the investigation stall? And how does David's family connect to these unresolved wounds? With every unanswered query, the tension mounts. The truth feels just within reach. Yet every revelation only deepens the mystery. This is a story of hidden bonds and fractured loyalties, where each new discovery threatens to upend a life built on the comfort of familiar lies. In a city famed for its resilience, one man must now confront a legacy of betrayal and face the painful possibility that his identity is not as secure as he once thought. As the case continues, the open loops persist. A crucial piece of evidence remains missing, a deadline looms, and the promise of a breakthrough is tempered by the heavy cost of uncovering painful truths. In the race against time, every clue matters. What will emerge from the shadows of Chicago? And will the answers offer redemption or only more heartache? Please note, while this narrative is crafted from verified investigative methods and respected public records, it remains a work of fiction designed to engage and provoke thought. The events depicted are not real, and any resemblance to actual cases is purely coincidental. The day David received his routine DNA test results turned his life upside down. A document meant to offer simple answers instead revealed a secret too heavy to ignore. His eyes locked onto a line of code that confirmed the unthinkable: his brother was the biological father of his 3 children. In that single moment, every memory, every whispered doubt from years past, became a piercing accusation. David's mind raced. How could I trust a man I called my brother, he thought, as the weight of betrayal pressed down on him. The revelation was not just a twist of fate, it was a blow that shattered the foundation of everything he believed about family loyalty. Every family dinner, every shared laugh now carried the sting of deceit. Fragments of his childhood began to surface. A quiet remark during a long-forgotten conversation, a brief flash of a troubled expression on his brother's face, all hints that this secret had been hidden in plain sight. Now, those memories formed a collage of regret and warning. The DNA report lay open before him, its cold facts challenging a lifetime of shared trust. But the shock did not end there. In a twist that left him reeling, David discovered evidence suggesting that this long-held secret might be tied to a recent double murder case that rocked the city. A file, marked with details verified by police records, hinted at a connection between his family's hidden past and a crime that left a community in mourning. The possibility that his personal tragedy could intersect with a larger, unresolved case made the clock of suspense tick louder than ever. In the quiet of his room, David's thoughts swirled with fear and betrayal. His internal struggle was clear: the revelation was a double-edged sword, cutting deep into his sense of identity and shattering the image of the brother he once knew. Every unanswered question now pulsed with urgency: what else had been kept hidden? Could this revelation be the missing piece that explains the unsolved murders? And more painfully, how would his children cope with the truth about their father? A chilling realization set in as David revisited the police file. The details of the double murder case, once a cold record in the annals of crime, now echoed with the possibility of a personal connection. The open loop of unanswered questions widened, each tick of the clock threatened to unveil more layers of betrayal, more pain interwoven with his family's past. As the evidence mounted and the countdown to a definitive confrontation began, David faced a crossroads. His next step would not only determine his own fate but might also unlock a case that has haunted Chicago for years. What if the secret concealed in his DNA holds the key to solving a crime that still leaves scars on the community? In a quiet corner of Chicago, police reopened a cold case that had long been buried. 2 victims were found on a deserted street, their lives taken in a crime that defied explanation. The case files, filled with verified forensic details and cryptic reports, hinted at a motive that had been hidden for years. Investigators discovered a small token at the scene, a symbol that strangely matched one from David's recent DNA revelation. An interview with an anonymous witness added to the mystery. I remember seeing a figure in a hurry, as if they carried a heavy secret. That simple statement raised more questions than it answered. Forensic experts confirmed that rare traces found at the murder scene linked back to evidence from David's family records. Each report, verified by trusted lab tests, revealed another piece of the puzzle. A document from the scene bore initials connected to a long-forgotten relative, blurring the line between personal betrayal and a larger, unresolved crime. A detective, in a recorded statement, remarked, "New evidence suggests that family ties might be at the heart of this case." His words, clipped and urgent, left a lingering question in the air. The clock ticked relentlessly, counting down as every new detail made the case feel more personal. David's mind raced. Every forensic detail, every remark from a witness, and every cold case report forced him to reconsider the betrayal he had suffered. The mounting evidence pointed to a disturbing possibility, that the secret hidden in his DNA might be the missing link to the double murder case. A file marked with old case notes and recent evidence arrived at the station. The information it contained was startling, a clear connection between the unresolved murders and the family secret that had shattered David's world. The revelation was a hard pill to swallow, one that brought a new level of dread and urgency. Now, the investigation stood at a crossroads. Each verified detail, each short statement from a witness, and each forensic match built up a narrative where personal betrayal might be intertwined with a calculated crime. The pressing question echoed in every room: is this family secret the motive behind a cold-blooded double murder? David's heart pounded as he faced his brother in the cramped living room. The air was heavy with unspoken words. "Why did you keep this secret?" David demanded, his voice low and trembling. His brother's eyes narrowed. "I did what I had to," he replied, the words cutting through the silence like a knife. In that charged moment, David's mind raced back through years of shared memories, each one now cast in a harsh light. A casual remark from long ago, a fleeting look of worry, all converged into a single question: how deep did this deception run? The weight of the DNA report and its damning revelations pressed on him. The shocking truth that his brother was the father of his children gnawed at his sense of identity and left him reeling with betrayal. Outside the personal storm, detectives pieced together cold case files that now carried a deeper connection. Forensic experts confirmed a rare token found at the double murder scene matched evidence linked to David's family records. One investigator stated, "The clues suggest this is more than a personal betrayal, they hint at a crime with roots that run far back." Their findings added a fresh layer of urgency to a case that had long been dormant. As the confrontation escalated, David's inner voice screamed with conflicting emotions. "How could I trust you?" he whispered. His brother's reply, laden with regret yet defiance, came slowly. "You never saw the pressure I was under," he said, each word dripping with a mix of justification and despair. For a brief moment, silence fell, long enough for every word and every pause to imprint itself in the hearts of those listening. The detectives, meanwhile, uncovered a report that linked the location of the double murder to a derelict building once frequented by a family member. This new lead sent shockwaves through the investigation team. A statement from one detective confirmed, "This new evidence challenges everything we thought we knew about the case." Every detail now tightened the noose of suspense, forcing a collision between personal history and public tragedy. In the quiet after the heated exchange, David's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number: "Some truths demand to be revealed." That brief text fanned the flames of his torment. Was it a warning? A final piece of the puzzle? The question lingered, adding another layer to the already tangled web of deceit. David's thoughts were a constant battle, loyalty torn apart by a betrayal that hit too close to home. The emotional toll of realizing his life was built on deception left him questioning everything. Every statement from his brother, every forensic detail presented by the police, pushed him closer to a breaking point. The question echoed in the silence: was this family's secret the motive behind the brutal double murder, or was there a darker force at work? As the night wore on, the investigation grew more intense. Detectives combined personal confession-style recordings with painstaking forensic analysis, each new detail forcing them to re-examine old assumptions. With every tick of the clock, the pressure mounted. Would the emerging evidence finally link the unresolved murders to the betrayal tearing David apart? Or would another unexpected twist deepen the mystery even further? In that charged atmosphere, every second mattered. David's inner struggle and the mounting external investigation created a scenario where one misstep could shatter lives completely. His confrontation with his brother wasn't just a clash of two men. It was the unraveling of a web that connected personal betrayal to a cold-blooded crime that had haunted Chicago for years. The tension built steadily as unanswered questions loomed large. What drove his brother to hide the truth? How did a personal betrayal tie into a larger crime that left a community wounded? And with each new piece of evidence, would the painful secrets finally come to light, or would they plunge David further into a vortex of guilt and despair? The investigation reached a fever pitch as every clue was laid bare. Forensic reports, witness statements, and long-forgotten case files converged into a chilling mosaic. A final analysis of evidence connected the location of the double murder with a rare artifact from the family's past, a detail that no one could ignore. David scanned the report with trembling hands. "This token," he murmured, "it ties everything together." His brother stood across the room, eyes fixed on the document, as if it revealed secrets they had both fought to hide. "You always believed in clear-cut loyalties," his brother said, his voice low and troubled. "But sometimes, the truth forces us to choose sides we never imagined." An anonymous message later confirmed the worst fears. A text flashed on David's phone: "I know the truth behind the crime." The message added another layer of complexity, urging him to rethink everything he once trusted. Every passing minute deepened the urgency. The clock was ticking as each verified forensic detail, every unexpected testimonial, built towards a climax no one could have foreseen. In a tense confrontation, David's voice broke through the charged silence. "It wasn't just about the betrayal in our blood," he accused. "There's something bigger, a hidden force that manipulated us all." His brother's eyes flickered with conflicting emotions before he finally whispered, "I was caught in a web I never chose. Someone else pulled the strings." At that moment, a confidential file arrived from an unexpected source, a former detective turned whistleblower. The document revealed that high-level figures might have exploited the family's secret to cover up a far greater crime. As David read the file, a new narrative emerged, a covert conspiracy that connected the double murder to an elaborate scheme of deception. A voice on a recorded message from the file warned, "Trust no one. The mastermind is still at large." The revelation hit hard. It suggested that the tragedy was not solely a family betrayal but part of a larger, calculated operation. With every piece of evidence now in place, the investigation challenged everything known about the case. In the charged atmosphere of the final confrontation, David and his brother faced each other once more. The tension was unbearable. "If this is true, then our entire past was manipulated," David said, his tone a mixture of disbelief and determination. His brother, caught between regret and defiance, only managed to reply, "I never wanted this for us, but the choices were never really ours." Questions now multiplied with relentless speed. What was the real motive behind the double murder? Who was the true architect behind the chaos? And could the family ever recover from the layers of deception? As the investigation closed in, the unanswered questions loomed larger than ever. Just as it seemed that all pieces were in place, a final message from the whistleblower chilled everyone to the bone: "The final key is hidden where you least expect it." With that, the truth remains on the edge, forcing David, and everyone watching, to wonder if the final answer will bring closure or shatter lives even further. In the aftermath, every secret David uncovered left a mark that could not be erased. The final pieces of evidence, meticulously gathered forensic details, witness statements, and that cryptic family artifact, revealed a tangled web where personal betrayal met a cold-blooded crime. The revelations forced a choice, to accept the painful truth or let it destroy everything he once held dear. David's journey ended not with a neat closure but with an unsettling understanding that some truths are too heavy to bear. His brother, torn between regret and defiance, disappeared into a maze of unanswered questions, leaving behind a legacy of fractured trust. The investigation's conclusion hinted at a hidden force, a connection to a double murder that would haunt the community for years. Each verified detail, every recorded confession, underscored the harsh cost of secrets kept too long. How far would you go to uncover the truth hidden in your own DNA? The unanswered questions now echo. In a world where genetic tests reveal more than just your heritage, the impact of a long-buried secret can shatter lives and redefine family bonds. The case stands as a reminder that the price of deception is measured in lost trust and irreversible damage. What would you do if the facts of your life turned against you? Could you handle the emotional toll of betrayal, knowing that every hidden truth might come at a devastating cost? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. If you believe in the power of true crime stories to challenge our ideas of loyalty and identity, subscribe and join the conversation. This narrative is a work of fiction. All characters and events are products of creative storytelling, and any resemblance to real events is purely coincidental.